Hi there. Thanks for watching again. I want to share some real excitement that I have. Today is the very first day where we've actually had all seven of our 7-car fleet, all 7 cars out on rent. And for the next 4 days, 5 days, it looks like at least for the next 4 days, all of the vehicles will be out on rent, which is, I think, extremely exciting. So I want to tell you the brief story of how we got here. We've been doing Turo now for about 3.5 months. Let's see, no, about 4 months. And I want to give you kind of a little update. So you can see on screen the list of vehicles that we have. The first vehicle that we got was the Mitsubishi Mirage. The second vehicle was the 2013 Hyundai Elantra. We got both of those during at the end of November of 2022, and they literally went out on rent starting right at December 1st. So those two vehicles were the only two vehicles we had for the month of December. In January, we saw that the bookings were looking good, so we bought 3 more vehicles, but it took us quite a bit of time to get all 3 of those vehicles operational, working the way that we wanted to. The 3 vehicles that we got in January was the 2014 Hyundai Accent, the 2012 Hyundai Elantra, and one of the 2014 Volkswagen Jettas. And then in March, we bought 2 more vehicles, a 2013 Volkswagen Jetta and another 2014 Volkswagen Jetta. So we now have 3 Jettas, 3 Elantras, and a Mitsubishi Mirage. And interestingly, we've become pretty confident of these cars, and so as we go forward, we'll probably be focusing most of our attention on purchasing Volkswagens, Hyundais, and Mitsubishis. The Mitsubishi a little bit iffy on, but they definitely seem to be extremely popular cars from a rental guest perspective. So of course that's real interesting to us. But what I want to show you something right now. I want to show you, actually I'm going to go into the first one, the Hyundai Accent, and I'm going to focus attention on the calendar. And you can see the calendar here. Let's see if I make that a little bit small. Nope, that's good enough. You can see the calendar. I'll move it down just a little bit. For March, we are the last 4 days of the month, and then if I go ahead and move forward, you can see that this vehicle is rented for a little over a week. Now I'm going to go to the next vehicle. I'm going to go to the 2012 Elantra. That vehicle is rented the end of March and then all the way basically 3 weeks. So it's got a 3-week rental there. Then the next vehicle, I'm going to go to the 2013 Elantra, and you can see, of course, it's rented the rest of March, and it's rented also about 3 weeks out, 2 weeks out, I guess, further. Then I'm going to go to the Mitsubishi Mirage, and you can see, of course, it's rented the rest of March, but it's rented most of the first next 3 weeks. Basically, it was a 1-month rental. The next vehicle is the 2013 Jetta. Now, the 2013 Jetta is really only booked this basically out. Oh, actually, this is a different one. This one is out on a 2-week rental, so it comes back the end of next week, middle of next week. It's been out for a week already. The next one I'm going to show one of the 2014 Jettas. This is the first Jetta that we purchased. What it doesn't show is that this vehicle went out on February 7th, and if we look into April, you'll see it's rented all the way through April and all the way to May 7th. It was a 3-month rental, very first rental for that vehicle. And then the other 2014 Jetta, it is out just for about a week, and it actually is coming in, I think, on Friday of this week. Yeah, it's coming in on Friday of this week. So with a little luck, we'll get a 2, 3, 4-week rental on the Jetta. You know, one of the things that a lot of people wonder is how often do you have to clean the cars? And one of the things I want you to know from our experience is the vast majority of our rentals are for at least a week, if not 1 or 2, more than a week. I'd say probably 50% of our rentals have been longer than a week. Obviously, we have some that are a month long, and I attribute that to the fact that people that need to rent a car for a long time frame will have a tendency to be drawn or attracted to the less expensive vehicles. And so if you're in the less expensive side of the market on renting Turo vehicles, you're going to be looking at an almost residual income kind of business where you may have to clean the car a couple of times a month. Many of our cars we're cleaning once a month, maybe twice. There's been a few times I've had to clean a car 4 or 5 times during the month, but that's pretty rare. Our minimum rental period is 3 days, and we do provide pretty good incentives for longer term rentals, and we've been very lucky at having those. What I want to do next is I want to give you a quick sort of history of what our vehicle experience has been. So we learned about Turo in November, purchased 2 cars in November, the Mitsubishi Mirage and the Hyundai Elantra. Now, as with anything that you do, you get better as you go along. So the first car, the Mitsubishi Mirage, had 118,000 miles. I paid $5,800 for it, and then almost immediately had to turn around and put $1,500 in repairs. And so then I had $7,300 in the car. Subsequently, I had to put another couple hundred in for additional, equipment, and then the car got wrecked, which I'll tell you more about in a second. The 2013, actually I should just change that. That should be 2013 Hyundai Elantra had 117,000 miles on it. We bought it for $5,500. It needed about $500 in repairs, and plus tax, title, and license. Now this was from what I would call a private dealer, somebody that buys cars and resells them but never takes title because he doesn't want, and this is apparently very common, doesn't want to actually have to become a dealership or doesn't have the financial resources to become a full-fledged dealership in the eyes of the state of Texas. So both of those cars were put on Turo, and we earned $1,085 in December. Now, the next batch of cars, we had to add 150 in repairs in January. This is month number 2 to the Mirage, and then it was subsequently wrecked out on the 23rd. When it was wrecked out, it looked like it just had a blown tire. I've actually got a video on this, but it was really significant damage to the suspension, and as a result, we ended up getting a significant settlement from Turo for the wreck, which we were able to get the car repaired for less than the settlement money that Turo gave us, and so therefore it helped to lower our investment in that vehicle. We did buy a 2014 Hyundai Accent that had 105,000 miles. We paid $6,000 for it. Had to put $500 in for 2 tires and an alignment, and then right after that, we were driving the car, had not yet rented it, and a check engine light came on. Turned out to be a catalytic converter, so we needed to put another $890 in it. So we had $7,690 in that car. That Accent has been an extremely good, reliable car. I've subsequently, last week, actually this week, last week in March, had to also put a new set of plugs and a ignition coil in it, which was $230 or $40. And it runs like a champ. It's a great little car and stays rented pretty consistently. We also bought a 2014 VW Jetta, and unfortunately I did not do a good job. I was real excited about the fact it only had 85,000 miles, real nice clean car, 1 dent on the right rear corner of the car, but not a significant visual ding. And but I did not notice that the radiator core was held into the car literally with zip ties. And so when I had to get a new key, which by the way, every single car we've bought had to have a key. They made for it. And the VW is the keys, that's $300 to get a key and get it programmed at the dealership. So this car was at the dealership getting programmed, and they said, hey, did you know? And so they offered to fix it for $2,500, but I took it to a mechanic that I've now met, and he did that repair for $800, which was just a great deal. So actually about $900. So we had $7,000 in that car, but according to retail value, I think we're in that car at a good price. We also bought a 2012 Hyundai Elantra with 110,000 miles, put in $5,600. Now we've had some problems with that car. We had to actually also put on front brakes next month. We had to put on front brakes, and we had to do some body work, and we had to also replace a radiator, not a radiator core, but a heater exchange core inside the car. So we had to do a number of additional little things to that car. It is now an extremely reliable vehicle. So in January, on January 23rd, the Mirage got wrecked out. On January 25th, the third car that we actually bought, the Accent, went out on rental for the first time. So the month of January, we really only had 2 cars out while the Jetta was being fixed and while the Elantra was being fixed. And then we get to February. So we have 3 cars listed at the beginning of February and 2 cars in the shop. The 3 cars that were on rent were a 2013 Elantra, a 2014 Accent, and a 2014 Jetta, which it went out on February 7th for a 3-month rental. The Mirage was finally repaired and put back into service on the 24th, and the Jetta, we bought another Jetta. The Jetta went into service on February 7th. So we actually only had 3 cars earning money for us in February, but not for the full month. So then we get to March. Now, March, we now have 5, at the beginning of March, basically during March, we had 5 cars listed. We bought 2 more cars. We bought a 2013 VW Jetta with a beautiful leather interior, and we bought another 2014 Jetta, which is white, we got from a dealer. The Elantra was continuing to have issues, but that finally got resolved. And as of March 28th, today, we have 7 cars on rent for the very first time. We're real excited. Our current plan is to buy 2 more vehicles during April. Those 2 vehicles will probably be, they'll definitely be either a VW Jetta or a Mirage or an Elantra or maybe a Kia. Those are the vehicles, because Kias and Hyundais are real close to being the same car. So here are some of the lessons that we've learned at this point in our Turo career. Cars, when you buy them, they seem to need between $500 and $1,000 of additional work. It could be tires, it could be alignments, it could be brakes, it could be just a number of little things, but almost all cars need that. Pretty much every car only has 1 key. I've not bought a car that has 2 keys, especially the fob types. So we've had to get spare keys made on every single car. It seems to take 2 to 3 weeks on average from the time you purchase a car to the time it's actually able to get into service on Turo. And the fastest that we've been able to do that has been 1 week. And I'm beginning to think that buying from dealerships, if you can find reasonably priced cars, and you can, from dealers, then that might be the way to go. It seems like the prices of cars are coming down, and I'm beginning to feel more comfortable about developing a process for buying cars. So far, every single car that we've bought, we've found off of Facebook Marketplace. And I'm getting a lot smarter about how I buy the cars. Before I go see the car, I require that the seller send me a VIN. If they won't send me a VIN, I don't go see the car. I check against the NHTSA database for recalls so that I know, and I'll often call the dealer to make sure that the recall can in fact be fixed before I even bother to go see the car. I will also check the car against Carfax. I'm buying, it's not wholesale Carfax, but you can buy Carfaxes for $99 for 5 of them, which makes them just about 20 bucks, a little less than 20 bucks per, which makes it worth doing. I've actually had a couple of situations where the Carfax has indicated that the mileage being reported on the car is not accurate, and so then I just don't go look at those cars. It also gives accident history on vehicles. I compare the car with Kelley Blue Book. My goal is to buy the car as close to wholesale as I can, but generally knowing that I'm probably going to end up somewhere between high wholesale and low retail. That's my strategy. I'm actually now looking for lower priced cars. I've lowered my low end limit to about $3,500, and I'm surprised, but I'm actually finding cars in the $4,000 price range that look like they're going to be pretty good cars. I have not actually gone and driven any of those yet, though. That'll be my strategy for the next batch of cars. I feel like I'm learning how to negotiate. Certainly going out with cash always talks. I knew that before. But I'm also, now that I have a relationship with a mechanic in an auto body shop, it's one and the same, I'm now actually willing to consider vehicles that have some minor cosmetic damage, but that are mechanically sound, because it doesn't really cost all that much to get a vehicle repaired cosmetically, from, like fenders and bumpers and things like that. You can actually get that done for just a $200, $300, $400, and it'll often take a whole lot more off the price of the car if it needs a little bit of body work than they would otherwise get. People just don't know, and they're not willing to. They don't have a relationship with an auto body shop, and they're not willing to get their car fixed, so they just go ahead and discount it. So I'm willing to consider mechanically sound vehicles that have a little bit of damage that can be fixed, and then the car can be put back in service. So let me now show you how this business is looking for us. So we did a little over $1,000, about $1,100 in December. We did $985 in January, $1,189 in February. We're going to come in at somewhere right around $2,400, maybe $2,450 for the month of March. And it's not really known what April will look like if we get 2 more vehicles in play. I'm expecting to be able to come close to $3,500 to $4,000. And then because I won't have those 2 additional vehicles in play for the entire month, if I am able to buy them right about March 1st to 5th, I won't really, given what I know at this point, probably have them both in play until the 10th to the 15th of March. So we'll get about a half a month. Vehicles earn around $500 a month, the kind of vehicles we're getting. So we should be able to do over 3,000, maybe 3,500 during April. Depending upon when we get them in, we could go as high as 4,000. But with 9 vehicles, I'm looking forward to $4,000 to $4,500 a month as being the revenue that those 9 vehicles will generate on a recurring basis. Now that doesn't include the other expenses that we have, but it certainly is looking like it's going to be a pretty profitable business. And I'm expecting to be able to purchase about 1 car every other month, maybe every 3rd month. Thus far, we've been putting some savings into buying the vehicles, but going forward, we're probably going to, for the most part, just be plowing the money back into growing our fleet. Our goal at the end of this year is to have somewhere in the neighborhood of 12 to 15 vehicles by the end, maybe as many as 15, or certainly our goal is to have around 15 vehicles by the end of this year. And so anyway, there's an update on how our new Turo business is growing, and I'm certainly excited and hope this helps you understand whether or not Turo might be a business, a side hustle for you to get involved in. Good luck, and thanks for watching. Leave any comments. I'd love to hear any comments or questions that you have. Thanks for watching.